What's going on, y'all? It's Hank Stanks. For years, this was a video no one thought they'd see. It was the perpetual David versus Goliath story, where David occasionally landed a hit, but Goliath always got back up and won the war. But in 2025, with the release of Battlefield 6 and Black Ops 7, Battlefield finally delivered the knockout blow. This isn't just about a good game versus a bad game. This is about a franchise that listened to its community, invested in its foundation, and prioritized the player experience, winning against a giant that became complacent and predatory. We're breaking down exactly how Battlefield 6 didn't just compete, but absolutely dominated Call of Duty this year. Battlefield outsold Call of Duty for the first time in history, an absolutely incredible feat. Let's get into how this monumental shift occurred. The single biggest differentiator this year is the fun factor. Battlefield has taken more of a casual approach, while Call of Duty has continued to cater towards the hardcore sweats. This isn't the only reason Battlefield dethroned Call of Duty in 2025. PC and console performance has also played a role. Black Ops 7, while being a great looking game, fails to innovate in its art style and also struggles with performance issues like netcode and large FPS drops on most systems. In stark contrast, Battlefield 6 made performance its number one priority this year. From the moment the beta dropped, it was clear that DICE and Battlefield Studios were obsessed with fluidity. The result? A shooter that runs beautifully. We're talking stable, high FPS on every current gen console, and a well-optimized PC experience that actually rewarded players for having high-end hardware, rather than punishing them with stuttering. BF6 proved that massive 64-player battles, destructible environments, and high-fidelity graphics can exist alongside silky smooth performance. When a fast-paced game is focused on delivering a solid 120 FPS plus experience, it fundamentally changes the game's feel. And in 2025, that alone was enough to steal a huge chunk of the market share. Moving beyond performance, let's talk about the experience itself. Battlefield 6 offered scale, while Black Ops 7 doubled down on the claustrophobic, 3-lane map philosophy and ignored its ground war community once again. Battlefield 6 embraced its identity with vast, multi-objective maps that fostered genuine team strategy, as always. DICE and Battlefield Studios clearly wanted this game to cater to all types of players. From the infantry-focused players to vehicle mains, they have given enough to each faction of the community for them to be content for now. They brought back and significantly improved the core element Call of Duty simply can't compete with: destruction. Walls crumbling, roofs falling, entire sectors changing as the match progresses. It wasn't just visual flair, it was a core gameplay mechanic. This dynamic environment made every match feel genuinely new, directly addressing the repetitiveness that plagues Black Ops 7. You couldn't just copy and paste a grenade spot, you had to adapt. This level of environmental interaction gave players a sandbox for emergent gameplay that the rigid structure of Call of Duty simply can't compete with. Not all is perfect with Battlefield 6, but as you can see from the gameplay, Season 1 has dropped 2 new maps, Blackwell Fields and Eastwood, which is what I'm currently flying around on. Eastwood is a fantastic map, one of my favorites in the game. As for Blackwell Fields, probably one of the worst in Battlefield history. We've discussed Black Ops 7's approach this year. Battlefield 6 took a completely different approach. They understood that sometimes gamers just want to relax, mess around with friends, and have a good time without their internal skill rating constantly judging them. Battlefield 6 focused on team-based SBMM or simply looser matchmaking that prioritized quick queue times and varied lobby skills. This meant that the good moments in Battlefield 6 weren't fleeting. They were common. It made the game a social experience again, rather than a competitive ladder that required you to be on 24/7. Battlefield 6 gave us a sense of community. COD gives us anxiety. We can't talk about the downfall of Call of Duty without addressing the aggressive push towards monetization that defines the series now. The absurdly priced cosmetic bundles, the feeling that content was being withheld, it all contributed to the public perception that COD was a greedy entity first and a game second. Battlefield 6, learning from those mistakes, launched with a far more respectful monetization model. The Battle Pass was generous, offering meaningful rewards for playing the game, and the cosmetic store items were priced pretty reasonably and focused more on unique styles rather than a constant stream of low-effort, high-cost content. They've also managed to maintain a grounded feel. They focused on encouraging engagement through rewards, not extracting money through fear of missing out. Battlefield 6 proved that a successful live service game can thrive without resorting to predatory tactics. Call of Duty's yearly cycle clearly forces them to rush things. Black Ops 7 launched with technical issues and a content roadmap that felt pretty padded. Battlefield 6, rumored to have benefited from a longer development cycle, launched as a complete and polished package. It wasn't just about the number of maps, but the quality of the overall experience, particularly vehicle combat. BF6 absolutely nailed the balance between air, ground, and infantry, something COD has never been able to truly integrate. This depth of content, where every class and every type of player has a meaningful role, provided the variety and longevity that Black Ops 7 immediately lacked, causing its player base to drop off rapidly after the initial fun wore thin. The sum of all these parts, performance, design, and player respect, led to an undeniable outcome: the Great Migration. For the first time in over a decade, the core shooter community voted with their wallets and their time. The forums, the streams, the content creators, they have all been focused on Battlefield 6, and of course, Arc Raiders as well. It was no longer acceptable to just tolerate Call of Duty's issues. When a competitor delivers a high-performance, respectful, and a feature-rich package that is genuinely fun to play casually, there is simply no reason to stick with the frustrating, money-hungry alternative. Battlefield 6 didn't need to kill Call of Duty. Call of Duty's own complacency, technical debt, and aggressive monetization drove its players straight into Battlefield's arms. So, that's how the unthinkable happened. Battlefield 6 is the new king of mainstream first-person shooters in 2025. They won by focusing on the fundamentals: performance, fun, and player respect. Call of Duty's fall is a cautionary tale for the entire industry. You can't rely on brand loyalty forever. When you continually fail to deliver a quality product, what do you think will happen? So guys, tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you loving Battlefield 6 as much as I am? And do you also feel like Battlefield has finally ended the reign of Call of Duty? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more Battlefield 6 content as well as other games, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a Hank Stanks video. I'll see you guys on the battlefield.